Hi, this is Lam and I have something very special for you today. Today we're going to go over 50 C1, C2 words. So this is the highest proficiency level. It shouldn't be easy, but that is why I'm here with you today. I'm going to give you a very simple explanation of the word, a sentence so you understand how to use it in a sentence, and also their synonym so you better understand the word. I'll also provide the Vietnamese meaning of it, so you shouldn't have too much difficulty studying with me. So if you think you're ready for the challenge, let's begin. The topic today I've picked for you is thinking. And the reason why I chose this is because this is very easy for you to apply in the test. Every time you think of the word think, you can use another more precise word. So let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I think you stole my cookie, you can say, I suspect you steal my cookie. There are more precision, more accuracy here. And at this level, that is what you want to do. Okay? With that being said, let's get started with the first word. Let's look at the list of verbs. The first verb we have for you is assess, and it is pronounced assess. It means định giá, đánh giá, and basically it means you want to think carefully about something and try to evaluate it, and that's the synonym, evaluate. And in a sentence, it can be something like, we assess his suitability for the job, meaning we try to see whether or not he fits the role or not. That was not too difficult, right? The second word we have is assume. Assume is pronounced assume, and it means giả định. It means you believe something is true even though no one has necessarily told you that it is true, or you have no proof about it. A synonym for it is presume. Let me put it in an example for you. Don't just assume that he knows how to swim just because he lives near the ocean. Then we have the verb baffle, and it is pronounced baffle, and it means gây bối rối. Now, a synonym for it is puzzle, and it basically means that when you baffle, it means that you are amazed. You don't know what to do, and you don't really know how to resolve it, to solve it. So a good example would be the detectives are puzzled at how the crime can happen and how it can be solved. So that's baffle. It's a really good word if you can use it correctly in the sentence. Then we have the word concentrate. It is pronounced concentrate, and it means tập trung. This is something it's likely that you know already, right? It means you put all of your attention onto something. The synonym for it is focus, and so a sentence for it is, I have difficulty sleeping. That's why I find it so difficult to concentrate. It means now you can't really focus after not having good sleep. Then we have the word consider. It is pronounced considered, and it means cân nhắc. So basically it means you think carefully about something before making a decision. A synonym for it is examine. So she paused and considered it for a moment. It means that she stopped and then she thinks about it for a moment. That's consider. This is very often used in everyday language, so try to add it to your vocabulary. Then we have the word contemplate, and contemplate is pronounced contemplate. It means suy ngẫm. So basically it means that you think about something in the future. So a synonym for it is think over. And in a sentence, you can just say, she contemplates retirement next year. It means that she's thinking about retiring next year, not working anymore. It's a difficult word, and if you can use it in the IELTS test, that will be great. It will show the examiner that you have very good command of the word. Then we have the word deduce. It is pronounced deduce, and it means suy luận. And so basically it's like after you have a lot of evidence, after you have a lot of information, you think and come to a conclusion, arrive at a result. And so a synonym for it is conclude. So you can say something like, from the evidence presented, the detectives are able to deduce the identity of the suspect. It means based on the evidence, the police can finally conclude who the suspect is. Then we have the word deliberate, and it is pronounced deliberate. This is a pretty formal word, and you see it a lot in the work environment. Basically, it means to think about something or discuss something very thoroughly. And therefore, the synonym is think about or discuss. In a sentence, you can use it. The judges deliberated for hours before announcing the winner. It means they discuss a lot before announcing who the winner is. The next word is a very important one because you're going to use it in a lot of complex social issues. And the word is discriminate. Discriminate means to tell something apart. So that's the synonym. You can pronounce discriminate. Discriminate, and it means phân biệt đối xử. Basically, this word means that you tell somebody apart based on their identity. So it can be their gender, their race, their religion. So basically, you treat somebody or look at somebody differently just because of those identities. And that's not nice. That's not good, right? In a sentence, you can say, employers are not allowed to discriminate people based on their gender. Then we have the word gather. And gather normally means collect, right? So you gather this, you gather that, but that's not the meaning I'm presenting to you here. Gather is pronounced gather, and it means cho rằng. And so the synonym for it is assume. Basically, it means that you're guessing something. You're making a guess based on the situation, based on how people act and how people look. So you can say something like, oh, you're new, I gather. So it means I'm guessing that you're new. You look at someone and you think they're new, so you gather that they are new. This word is not too difficult, but it is very good for you to show the examiner that you really know what the word means. So it's great if you can use it in the test. Then we have the word grasp. You can see that it's not that easy to pronounce, so I'm just going to pronounce it once more. Grasp. Grasp. And basically it means to understand. That's the synonym for it, understand. And it means hiểu, nắm bắt. So in a sentence, you can say, he finds it difficult to grasp the rules of the game. Basically, it means he can't really understand how to play the game. So that's grasp. And you use it a lot when you talk about education or work or other things, basically just trying to understand the information. Grasp. Then we have the word justify. I've already made a short video about it. If you want, you can watch it. It's in Vietnamese. I've explained it further. But basically, justify is pronounced justify. Remember the intonation, justify. And basically, it means to prove that you're right when most people think you're wrong, okay? And it means bào chữa. A synonym for it is explain. So in an example, you can say, can you justify why you're being so late? We have to wait an hour already. So basically, you ask your friend to explain why you're doing that, why you're arriving late. So that's justify. You can use it in more complex situations, like the companies are trying to justify their actions by coming up with a PR message. So that's not really good, but they're trying to prove that they're right, even though most people think they're wrong. Justify. Then we have the word ponder. And ponder is pronounced ponder. And it means suy ngẫm. And it basically means that you think about something very carefully, but mostly in a very long time. And so the synonym for it is think and wonder. So an example can be, I'm still pondering on whether to tell him my secret or not. So you're thinking for a long time about whether or not you're going to share your secret. Then we have the word presume, and you pronounce it presume. Basically, it means giả định. You think something is true even though you're not too certain. And so a synonym for it is suppose. You can say, I presume that you've already ordered lunch. So if you look at your friend and you find that he's just patiently waiting for his food, so you can presume that he's already ordered lunch. Then we have the word rationalize, and it is pronounced rationalize. It basically means hợp lý hóa, giải thích một cách rất là logic. And it means that you're going to use logic and reasoning to explain why you do something. And it can be something that is not necessarily right for you. So a synonym for it is reason. And in a sentence, you can use, he rationalized eating the cake by convincing himself that he deserved it, even though he's on a tight diet. So basically, he convinced himself with logic and reason that he deserved the cake, even though he's on a diet. That's rationalize. And you see this word a lot in IELTS reading, IELTS listening. if you can use it in your IELTS speaking or writing, that would be great. It's a really good word. Then you have the word reflect. Reflect is pronounced reflect. So there are a lot of consonants here. So make sure that you pronounce all of the consonant correctly. Reflect. And it means you think back on something. You think carefully about something before coming to a decision. And basically you have kind of like a nostalgic feeling about it, thinking about the past. That is why the synonym for it is think back on. In a sentence you can use, after the accident, she reflected on how she almost lost her life. So basically she think back and think of what happened and basically have a very sad feeling about what happened. Then we have the word speculate, and it is pronounced speculate, and it means 推断. It basically means you consider and discuss why something had happened. And therefore the synonym for it is guess. And speculate is used a lot in investing. So for example, you speculate, you guess that the price of a stock is going to increase. It means that you're guessing that the price of the stock is going to increase. That's speculate. And the last verb we have today is suppose. Now, suppose is pronounced suppose, and it means 假想, and it means that you believe something is true based on your prior experience and feelings about something, and you can't really be sure. So therefore, the synonym for it is imagine. So in a sentence, you can say something like, she's 35, I suppose, meaning that you're guessing that she is 35. She looks that way or something like that. And so those are all of the verbs I prepared for you on this topic. And we're going to move on to the adjectives. The adjectives are really good because they contain a lot of nuanced meaning. So it's going to be not so straightforward like the verb. It's going to have a lot of small but important meaning to it. Are you ready? Yeah, so the first word for you is abstract. It is pronounced abstract. 抽tượng. So basically it means that you can't really see and touch it, but you can definitely feel it. And it exists in terms of an idea. A synonym for it is theoretical, even though I don't find it a close meaning, but you can, it's a synonym. And in a sentence, you can say something very sweet like, love is abstract. So you can feel it, but can't really like touch it, right? So that's abstract, 抽tượng. And love is abstract, and it can mean different things to different people. That's abstract for you. Then we have a very good word. So do you remember people who are like a bit like very logical, very good at reasoning, have everything like figured out? You can say that he or she is analytical. It is pronounced analytical. Now, so be very sharp and logical, good at reasoning, good at explaining things. A synonym for it is methodical. Basically, you do things step by step and very good at processing and solving things. In a sentence, you can use something like, he's an engineer and he has an analytical mind. It means that his mind is really good at solving things, very good at logical things and reasoning stuff. So that's analytical. Then we have the word astute. It is pronounced astute. And basically it means being very clever, noticing a lot of details that leads to very big revelation. It means sắc sảo nhạy bén. And so in a sentence you can say, the astute detective noticed the small clue that led to solving the crime. So he noticed a small detail of evidence and then he used that evidence to solve the entire crime. That is why it's being so astute. That's a very good word, right? Then we have a very popular and important word that you can use a lot when you talk about a social issue. It is the word biased. Biased, it is pronounced biased, and it means 天vị. And it basically means that you just prefer something more, and by doing that, you can do it a bit unfairly. And so a synonym for it is one-sided. So for example, there are two applicants applying for the same job, two people wanting the same job, but then one person is actually a friend of the director, and then that friend got chosen for the job. And therefore, we can say the employer made a biased decision. Then we have the word cynical. Cynical is pronounced cynical, and it means 怀疑, but in a bit like a pessimistic and negative way. So for example, you remember there's a saying, the glass is half empty or the glass is half full, right? pessimistic people will say that the glass is half empty. And that's the same with cynical. But cynical also means doubtful. That's the synonym for it. So a sentence will be, he's a bit cynical about life. He always looks at the world as if his cup is half empty all the time. Yeah, so it means basically he has a very doubtful and pessimistic view of life. The next word we have is discerning. It is pronounced discerning, and it means sâu sắc sáng suốt. And basically you use this word when you want to describe someone who has really good taste, good understanding, and keen insight on something. So let me give you an example. She has discerning taste in music, meaning that she has really good taste in music. She knows which music is good, which one is popular, which one is trending right now. Then we have the word dubious, and it is pronounced dubious. It means đáng ngờ, lưỡng lự. So basically you're questioning something. You're not really sure about something, about its quality or whether or not you should do it or not. So basically you're a bit hesitant. The synonym word for it is questionable. And so in a sentence, it's going to be, we are quite dubious about whether or not he's going to be able to do the job. Then the next word we have is ingenious, and it is pronounced ingenious. Basically, it means khéo léo tai tình. So it means that you're really clever. It's something that is really smart. It's very helpful, useful. So in a sentence, you can, and so therefore a synonym for it is clever. Basically, you can use it in a sentence like, oh, it is such an ingenious invention. We then have the word naive. It is pronounced naive. And so you can think of this like innocent. That's its synonym. So it means someone who have little understanding about life, little experience about life, looking at life always on the brighter side. It's ngây thơ. And so a sentence will be something like, I was a naive 17-year-old girl back then. We then have the word optimistic, and it is pronounced optimistic. Well, basically everyone knows this. Most people know this word, right? It basically means you're very positive about something, and that's the synonym. It's lạc quan tích cực, and basically you can put it in a sentence like, she has a really optimistic view about the future of the company. So basically she looks at the company future in very high regard. Then we have also a very important one. The next word we have is pessimistic. It is pronounced pessimistic. It's the exact opposite of the word optimistic. So it means you're a bit pessimistic, you're a bit like negative about something. That's the synonym. And in Vietnamese, it means bi quan. You're not hopeful about the future. You expect bad things to happen instead of good ones. So in a sentence, similarly, you can say, she is a bit pessimistic about the future of the company. She doesn't believe that it's going to succeed in the future. Yeah, so she has very low regard about the future of the company. That's pessimistic. Then we have another word that is very commonly used in everyday conversation. That's the word plausible. It is pronounced plausible. And basically it means that it's very believable. It's likely to be true, honest, and suitable. And that's why the synonym for it is believable. In Vietnamese, it means hợp lý, có thể tin được. So you can say, I think that's the only plausible explanation for that situation. So basically it means that that's the only way to reason why that happened. We then have the word perceptive, and this is a very good word. If you can use this in the IELTS speaking test, it will be great. And basically it means someone who is very observant. So that's the synonym, observant. And it means nhạy bén, sâu sắc. So think of someone who is really good at understanding something, but understand things on a deeper side, on a more emotional side, who's really good at feeling the situation, feeling the atmosphere, and like reading between the lines. So that's perceptive. If you put it in a sentence, you can say something like, the perceptive child saw the sadness in her friend's eyes and gave her a hug. So basically, the child is very perceptive, can really like feel that her friend is sad, can see that her friend is sad just by looking at her eyes. And so that's the word perceptive. Such a beautiful word, right? We then have the word profound. it is pronounced profound. And basically it means sâu sắc. A synonym for it is deep. So basically if you have like very deep insight about something, deep understanding about something, like deep feeling, that is the word profound. In a sentence you can say, the movie's ending was really profound, leaving the audience in deep thought, meaning that the ending have like a really deep impact on the audience, making them like thinking a lot after watching it. We then have the word prejudiced, and this is a very important word in a social setting, and it's something that you should understand, not just the word but also the phenomenon. It's a sad thing, but basically it's pronounced prejudiced, and basically it means có định kiến, có thành kiến. So you have like unreasonable hatred or disregard to certain groups of people, and you don't really have like a good reasoning on why that is the case. So you can say he's prejudiced towards the homeless, or basically he doesn't really understand the homeless. He doesn't feel for them. He's not compassionate towards them. And then we have another word, and this word is very easy to use in a sentence. It is skeptical. So it is pronounced skeptical, and it means đáng ngờ, nghi ngờ. And so basically it means you're doubtful about something, and that's a synonym for it. In a sentence you can say he gave the project a go, but he was still skeptical about the result. So basically he allows the project to go ahead, but he is still doubtful about whether or not it's going to work. So that's the word skeptical. And so that's it. That is all of the words that we have in store for you today. If you enjoy what you're watching, please give a like and subscribe. We also have a downloadable PDF of the exercise so that you can practice your understanding of the word. I hope you're enjoying your time with us today, and I'll see you next time.